Hi, everybody. I am so excited that you are here. I am thrilled. It's always like a little nervous making. It's like live television. And you may not know this about me, but once upon a time, I worked in television when I just out of undergraduate. But I wasn't on this side of the camera. So this is fun and a little nervous making for me. I just want to introduce myself. I'm Nina Manelson. I work with smart, amazing women who are incredibly savvy, who kind of know what they should or shouldn't be eating to feel their best, but have a hard time actually making it happen in their day-to-day life. And tonight I am thrilled to just get very nitty-gritty with you in the kitchen. Because one of the things that I really believe in is that for us to be nourished, really deeply, deeply nourished, we have to work on 3 levels. So one is the food level. What are you going to eat, right? That's important. What are you going to eat? It makes a difference on how you feel, of course. And then there's the lifestyle level. We're going to talk a lot about the lifestyle level, right? How does it actually happen? And then on a deeper level, there's the mindset level. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? How does that impact how you nourish yourself? And we're also going to get into that this evening. So before we start, I have to do just a little bit of a girly moment. I need to show you my dress. So hold on, I'm going to back up a little so you can see it a little better. So I wore this totally 50s inspired dress specifically because it personifies that sort of like everything's perfect in the kitchen, right? Dinner's on the table. There's not a mess. Dinner is perfect. It's by some Julia Child's recipe, and it's plated just so. Yeah, that's not my life. Like, this is not how I am in the kitchen. I am a very casual cook. I'm a very creative cook. And I really want you to know I was not always that way. At all. So I grew up in a house where I didn't have to cook. Then I went off to schools where I definitely didn't cook. And then I lived in New York City for a long time where I ate out. I basically lived on pizza and falafel, right? So I didn't cook there. And it wasn't until I met my husband, we bought this house, that we sort of looked at each other and went, who's going to cook? Right? So we decided, even though I was not the better cook of the two, that I would take on the cooking. That was going to be my role. Well, I happened to be in graduate school at the time. So I turned to 2 girlfriends and I was like, okay, so I decided to be the cook in the couple, but I don't know how to cook. And they were like, seriously? Like, you got to know something. And I was like, don't really know anything. They were like, how about a basic pasta dish? I was like, nope, really, no clue. And how I started to cook was they gave me this recipe book, 10 easy pasta recipes, right? I'm sure I would look at it now and go, you know, I'd tweak this and let me change this and I would upgrade this around the food. You know what? But I have evolved as a cook and I have become more confident and comfortable in the kitchen. And all to say with this story is if I can go from feeling like I have no clue how to cook and put on a dinner. The first dinner, I invited my sister over. It took me 3 hours to put on a very basic dinner. Like, I really was not comfortable. I was not at ease. So I want you to know that if I can do that, so can you. I do not have magic powers. I just had the ability to be in my kitchen and relax and make it a place where I wanted to be. So before we get into those tools, the specific 5 tools that I have for you, and that's what we're going to do this evening, is go through 5 specific tools that I use every day. In fact, right before we went live with this webinar, my daughter came in and she said, what are you talking about tonight? I said, I'm talking about 5 most powerful tools to make healthy eating, healthy cooking easy, fast, and fun. She said, okay, let me tell you, you're talking about, and then of course she named them. She could name them right away. She said, I could do this, right? Of course she could, because she sees me in the kitchen working with these tools all the time. So I'm going to get into that, but before we do, we need to get down to that mindset level. Remember, we talked about nourishment that becomes sustainable in your life, that becomes something you can do all the time, every day, happens because we're working on 3 levels: food, lifestyle, mindset. So before we dig really deep into the lifestyle piece, let's talk mindset. Because if you walk into this kitchen, your kitchen, and you're feeling like, I don't even know where to start. You know, this recipe, it's got 15 things in it. I haven't even heard of those ingredients. It's going to take too long to put together. Already you're overwhelmed. Already you're stressed. This is not going to go that well because it's not enjoyable. You're not going to walk in the kitchen the next night and go, this is fun. Let me do that again. So the first thing I really want for you is to relax. Cooking is not a perfect science. Baking, a little more. Baking is a little less forgiving. It's more around chemistry. But cooking dinner, making yourself a quick lunch, putting on breakfast, this is not about the perfect science, and nor does it have to be about gourmet cooking. I call myself a casual cook because I just throw things together. I absolutely have recipes. I have a recipe book, Feed Your Kids Well in a World That Doesn't, but I don't adhere, like strictly, okay, this has to be a certain way. I tend to go to the farmer's market or go to a health food store and get what looks good and come back. And if I get something that I don't know what it is, something looks fresh and beautiful, it's a vegetable that I don't know, right? I've done that a lot. There's somebody who sells Chinese greens at our farmer's market. I go, I'm like, what is this? They tell me the name. I come home, I Google it, right? I'm like, okay, what can I make with that? So that's what I want you to have, is a sense of creativity. I want you to have a sense of ease. I want you to let go of perfection, right? I want you to adopt sort of my way of cooking, which is casual cooking, and let go of the perfection cooking. The other thing I want you to stick to is simplicity. I want it to be simple. When I first started cooking and really had no clue what the heck I was doing in here, I looked for recipes with 5 ingredients or less because it was overwhelming to me. You're supposed to have what? Cumin and the turmeric and the curry, and I didn't even know what all these spices were at that time. So a whole list of them was overwhelming. So what I want for you is keep it simple. Look online. There's lists and lists of recipes with 3 ingredients or less, 5 ingredients or less. Make it simple. So if you're somebody who walks into the kitchen and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed, I don't have a plan, it's too much, what I always say is if you're overwhelmed, start with easy. Then do easy over and over and over again, right? So when I got that recipe book that I was talking to you about when I really didn't know how to cook, and it was 10 easy pasta recipes, I did them over and over until what was easy, I became good at. And once I was good at it, I could get a little more creative. I could add my own vegetables. I could add my own spices. I could upgrade from white pasta to whole wheat pasta, and then I eventually went gluten-free into, whole grain rice pasta. Right? So you can slowly move, but start with what's easy. So now I want to get into the 5 specific tools that will make it easier to be in the kitchen, because that's what I want for you. So I'm going to start with one basic tool. So that is over here. It's my salad spinner. So my salad spinner is quite ancient. It's one of these like pull salad spinners, so you put it in. So in case you're not a salad spinner gal, this may be obvious to some, but this is a vital piece of kitchen equipment. So bowl, strainer, top. Top goes on, spin. Now, it may seem like, yeah, whatever, I have a salad spinner for lettuce. Salad spinner is so much more than for salad. All my veggies go in the salad spinner. So my salad spinner basically lives in my sink, right? So I put all the vegetables I want to use, I put them in the salad spinner, scrub, 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 and then have it filled with water, and then rinse it, and then dump the water. And then again, fill second time, swish it around, dump the water. Okay, so then I have clean vegetables in here. I can either spin them, right, so that they're dry if I need them dry, but most of the time I'm throwing them into a skillet on the stove and just sauteing them up with something. So they don't even need, often most salad spinners have the spinning top to dry the vegetables. Most of the time I'm just using this as a way to wash vegetables. Okay, so salad spinner, let me give you a link to it. So one of the things I have this handy dandy ability is to show you cool things that I want you to check out. So salad spinner, I'm going to load this here so you can see it. You should be able to see the salad spinner that I recommend on the right side of your screen. If you're not seeing it on the right side of the screen, hover over your left side of your screen and you should see some icons. One might be Webinar Jam, one might say sidebar, and you want to click on that so that you can see the sidebar on your computer screen. So the salad spinner that I'm talking about here is an OXO salad spinner. Good quality, right? And big. Don't get those $10 little salad spinners. They're not worth your time and energy. You're going to be like, even if there's 2 people in your family, don't get those little salad spinners. They're cheap. They're going to fall apart. They don't fit enough vegetables. Don't think of this as a salad spinner. Think about this as your veg prep helper, right? Because if you're eating healthy, you're eating a lot of vegetables. That's a bottom line thing. So you want to be able to process vegetables easily. One of the things I hear all the time from women is like, but it takes so long to prepare all those vegetables. I want to make that time much, much shorter. I don't take a huge amount of time in the kitchen. I'm very fast. I open the fridge, pull out the vegetables I'm going to use, stick this under the water, fill it, and in goes the broccoli, the cauliflower, anything that I'm going to use goes right in here, gets washed, and then gets cooked with. Okay? So don't think of it as a salad spinner. Invest in a good one. Invest in a big one. The OXO that I have there's an Amazon link which will take you right to it if you want that resource. It's there for you. Salad spinner. I know it seems like, really? Salad spinner? Seriously, salad spinner. It'll rock your world. It'll make everything better. And sometimes if I'm making green smoothies, so the last webinar I did was how to make a week's worth of green smoothies, salad spinner, right? A lot of vegetables have to get washed. You want to just do them right in here and then pull them out and all the dirt is left on the bottom. Okay, so that's number 1, powerful, powerful tool. Okay, number 2, we're still on the veggie thing. We're still talking vegetables because I want you to be able to make your veggies like in a snap. So one of the things that I do a lot is make a big soup. Summer or winter, I make big veggie soups because then there's always something in the fridge. I'm like, what do I want? Let me have a little veggie soup. And you can always add to it, right? You add chickpeas and fresh tomatoes and basil and make it a little more Italian flavored. Or you can add some tamari and a little bit of seaweed and toasted sesame oil and make it more Asian, right? I always start with a very basic soup and then make variations. So when I'm making a big pot of soup, there's a lot of chopping. And that's, again, I hear a lot of times, oh, I don't want to chop that long, it takes so long. And for sure, and this is one tool that I'm not talking about, but it should be hopefully self-evident, what you need in the kitchen is knives, right? Good knives. So, and I can do a whole class on good knives another time, but good knives are great, but still, if you're making a lot of vegetables, that's a lot of chopping. So what I want you to have is a food processor. So the food processor I have here is a Cuisinart. I'll show you which one I have. Hold on. I am going to show you which one I have. Food processor. Now I have this particular food processor. It's a Cuisinart. But what I want to say is there's a lot of things and you should be able to scroll. Yes, if you scroll down, you'll see the link. It's a big image, so you just need to scroll down to see the link there. That's exactly what I have. Very basic. 2 buttons, right? Go, fast, or just pulse. There are fancier ones for sure. There are many great food processors on the market. I like Cuisinart because it's lasted me a long time, very durable. I am tough on my appliances. In fact, I just bought 2 new parts for my Cuisinart because I dropped the whole thing on the floor. Now, the amazing thing is the base totally works. The motor's fine. The container is fine, but the top cracked. So it's easy to get new parts. You don't have to buy the whole new thing. But here's what I want to say about food processors. I know I'm talking about the Cuisinart, but really, some things I'm like, this is the brand to get. This is the best one. You should definitely invest the money, right? I'll talk more about that in my Vitamix and my love affair with Vitamixes. With food processors, I'm not so picky, right? Most food processors will do the job. This happens to be a very durable one, and they're great with replacing parts, and they've been going for, 50 years already. So it's a good brand. But really, I've been at Summer Homes, and there was no food processor. We've gone to the thrift store and bought a $5 food processor. That was, I don't know, like Black & Decker or anything, and it worked just fine. But here's the thing. A couple of things about the food processor. I want you to have it on your counter. You'll see mine lives right here. I do not put it in a cabinet. I do not put it away because I want it there so it's easy to use, right? When I say to people, we're using the food processor, yeah, I can get it out, but it's kind of a hassle. Don't have it be a hassle. Have it live right here so that when you're like, okay, I'm going to just quick, make up a salad, great, throw everything in. Now, a lot of people think, okay, food processor, here's my Escalade. I'm going to talk about accessories for a moment. So here's the Escalade, right? And all it does is make things into a paste. And that's a great thing, right? You use this Escalade when you're making my raw truffles. Super easy recipe, really. Throw a handful of raisins and a handful of walnuts into the food processor with the Escalade. Basically pulverizes it into a paste, and you've made yourself raw truffles. And that's really helpful. But here's where the real power and why the food processor goes on my top 5 list is these accessories. So these accessories are, I'm going to show you up close. These accessories are the slicers and graters, right? So you can take, and then there's this happens to be the Cuisinart, but different companies have different ways of putting it together. So this just clips in, right? So you clip in and clip out of the different accessories. I want you to have these accessible. So my food processor lives here, and not far is the basket of accessories, because I'm making something and I'm like, you know what? I'm making soup. Great. Let me put in the feeder tube and put in, hold on, I'm doing this backwards. Put in the feeder tube, right? Put it on. This is just the regular top. Put on the feeder tube. But inside, I'm going to say, you know what? I want thick slices, because there's thick slices and thin slices. I want thick slices in my soup. I put that in. I put this in. And then all the veggies go in there, right? They can, if they're small enough, they go in this way. And if they're big, they can go right in the big slot. And I can put a whole potato in. Slice up potatoes. 5 seconds, right? So if you're making a soup, in could go the carrots and the turnips and the parsnips and the celery and the onions and the rutabaga and the potatoes. Everything can go in 2 seconds, and you've got everything sliced and diced, right? I know I sound like some, I don't know, infomercial, slice and dicing. But what I really want you to have a food processor so you're not sitting there for hours chopping and not feeling like, oh gosh, this is a pain. No, I want you to be able to just, in it goes. Like in 2 seconds, you've got sliced vegetables. And often what I do is once this is going, right, and I've filled up one container and put it in my soup pot, is I'll be like, you know what, well, it's here already. why don't I put on my grating blade, put in a few carrots, put that in a separate bowl, put some raisins in, squeeze some lemon, and you have a carrot raisin salad in 20 seconds, right? This doesn't have to be fancy, right? This doesn't have to be perfectly diced into tiny. This is about being casual, comfortable in your kitchen, no sweat. But the trick here with the food processor is having it available, accessible, easy to reach. Okay, so now I'm going to get into my love affair with my Vitamix, just for a couple minutes. If you know me at all, you know my fondness for green smoothies. I still have mine sitting here. Here's my little green smoothie from my last little bits left from this morning. I love the Vitamix. I think that having a high-speed blender is a huge, it's a huge luxury because it's a little bit of an investment. It's a huge investment in your health, right? Because there's a lot that happens in this smoothie. It turns a whole salad into a drink that you can be sipping all day so that you're ensured to be having nutrient-dense food by your side all day. It also makes amazing fruit smoothies for your family. Every night, practically after dinner, my daughter who's 13 or my son who's 16 will say, oh, I'm gonna make some ice cream. And what they mean by that is I'm gonna put some frozen fruit in the Vitamix, whip it out in 2 seconds, and it makes soft serve ice cream just out of frozen bananas and frozen strawberries. That's a whole other webinar, which I will absolutely do as summer comes along, about how to make healthy ice creams because it's so wonderful. But for now, I want to say about the Vitamix, it's really worth doing. I have a special cheat sheet for you. Let me just come and connect that for you. So the cheat sheet, there's a lot of different, hold on. There's a lot of different kinds of Vitamixes, and it can be a little intimidating to go on their website and go, like, am I supposed to get this one and that one, and which one's the best one for me? So what I've done is made you a whole sheet that sort of outlines the different ones that are available. This one is a 5200. It's what I've had for over 15 years. It's been amazing. The ones that are now, I think it's the 7500 or something, can't quite remember the number, they're shorter. So if you have countertops, you know, here I had plenty of space, but if you have low countertops, you know, or cabinets that are low, so there's not as much space on your countertop, the other ones with the shorter but fatter containers would work better. There are other high-speed blenders out there in the world. What I love about the Vitamix and why it sells me, there's two things. One is that it has a tamper, so I can put whatever's in there, and even if I haven't loaded it properly with the, you know, softer things on the bottom to blend easy, I just take that tamper and I push everything down into the blade, and I'm good to go. The other thing that I really love about it is basically it's on, off, and then high, low, right? It's very basic, right? Just like how I like my Cuisinart, on, pulse, right? It's very simple. There's not too much to break. I love electronics. You can tell I'm a little bit of a techie. I like, you know, being able to give you all these links and resources. I love that. But when it comes to kitchen appliances, I want it simple so that it doesn't break and it lasts forever, right? I'm telling you the resources that last. I am so hard on my equipment that I want to make sure that the ones that I have are like the best. Honestly, I should be like a consumer reports like tester, because if it can stand me, I'm like 3 meals a day cooking, doing fast, my casual cook style. If it can stand up to my wear and tear, it is a good product. So Vitamix has stood up for the wear and tear. Cuisinart, even though I bashed it around and have broken it, they replace it very nicely. And that's the other thing about Vitamix, is they have great customer service. Okay, so we've got Vitamix, we've got Cuisinart, we've got Salad Spinner, 2 more. So we started with, this was the logic in my sequencing. We started with, how do you prepare veggies easy? You gotta wash them, Salad Spinner. How do you slice them up? Great, we've got the Cuisinart. then if you're making your smoothies, you're making your ice cream, you're making salsas, you're making a lot of stuff in the Vitamix, good, you got that. But then, and this is part of what makes cooking easy, fast, and fun, is don't cook all the time. I know it's a little surprising that I would say that because I am a big cook. I love to cook. I love being creative in the kitchen. But I don't do it every night, right? I hear so many well-intentioned moms and women saying, I just can't get it together every night. I'm like, don't. Please don't. Cook once, eat twice or 3 times, right? So if you're going to make a pot of rice in the beginning of the week, make a big pot. And if you're going to do, like an Indian curry one night, then use the Cuisinart to cut twice as many vegetables so that then the second night you're just sauteing it up and adding Chinese flavorings, right? Asian flavorings, so that then you have a stir fry because you have rice left over from, say, beans and rice type of meal. So I want you to be cooking once, but having it for several nights. And even if you don't have a whole meal for the next night, you have the basics. You have some core things going on anyway. Some things like the rice or some vegetables cut up. But if you have all that stuff, where is it going to go? So that's my next kitchen tool for you. So I'm going to show you inside my cabinets. This is one of the most important cabinets we have in the house, right here. All the storage, right? A whole cabinet devoted to storage. And it looks lovely, partly because somebody, my daughter, just sorted it for me, but it always doesn't look too far from this. Sometimes the lids are a little mismatched. Sometimes they're not so beautifully, coordinated colors and all, but they always have their lids on them. And this is always packed so that whenever I'm cooking, I am cooking double. I am cooking triple, and it is going into a container and into the fridge, right? And the other thing that I want to say about these is these are glass locked. So let me just show you. I'm going to also have a link for that. So hold on one second for this. I'm going to show you. But what I like about glass is that it's toxin free. It's really important. So let me just get this glass food storage containers. Great. Okay. So what you're seeing there is exactly this set that I own. So it's glass lock. And I like glass, as I said, because it's toxin free. So plastics, we were sort of, at least I was brought up on Tupperware. But plastics carry a huge amount of toxins that are actually hormone disruptors. They make a mess of our hormones. And when our hormones are disrupted, we don't feel good. We feel tired. We have unwanted weight. We have hot flashes. We are cranky. There's a lot of symptoms that go with hormone imbalance. And one of the factors that impact it is toxicity in our environment. And one easy way to reduce your environmental toxicity, glass containers. Let go of the plastic. So when I went glass, I got rid of all my plastic and I tucked it away in the back. So whenever I'm bringing food to somebody's house, I bring it in the plastic. I say, please take it out of the plastic right away, but don't give me back the plastic, right? It lets me drop off food for somebody and not worry about getting my container back ever, which is kind of nice. And now I'm almost out of all of that plastic stuff that I give away, which is nice. I'll find some other way of doing it, but I really highly recommend going glass for your containers. So get a set. Get a set, these click on, and they hold well. I send them in my kids' lunches. They're a little bit heavier, but I want them to be eating out of glass. I don't want them eating out of plastic. I don't want them ingesting all the chemicals that are in those containers. So that is the fourth kitchen tool, is your plastic, your glass containers, and letting go of the plastic. Okay, last kitchen tool. It's the smallest. It was so funny. My daughter said, "So you're gonna talk about your microplane, right?" I absolutely am. So I just want to show you close up. So this is a microplane. This is a little container, a little sheath on it, right? And so this is like, it's like a tiny grater. It is a tiny grater. It's not like a tiny grater. It is a tiny grater. And it seems sort of like, really, that's the most powerful tool, but it really is, and I'll tell you why. So there's a lot of things I use it for. One, and this is a great tip. This is ginger. Let me show you that too, up close too. So this is ginger, big, huge ginger root. And you'll see it's kind of, you'll see it's a little frosty because I just took it out of the freezer. So what I do with the ginger root is I put it right in the freezer like this. You don't have to buy such a huge piece, but I go through a lot of ginger. And you'll see here too, this is where I've already grated it. So I just take it skin and all, and I grate. Just go right into whatever I'm cooking. I just grate it right like this, right with the microplane. So what I love about the microplane, let me just make a big mess here. What I love about the microplane, different than a regular grater. Regular grater, often you're holding over a board or something. This I'm just holding in one hand, and I'm often just putting it right into the stuff that I'm cooking. Ginger goes right in, or making ginger tea. I just put it right into water, bring it to a simmer for 15 minutes, strain it, and you've got beautiful, fresh, medicinal, healthy, immune-building ginger tea. So I use it a lot for ginger. I use it a lot for lemon rinds, orange rinds. I use it for raw chocolate if I'm just putting a little chocolate on a dessert. I just find it incredibly handy, this tiny little microplane. So let me give you that link also. So fun to be able to give you all these resources. So, microplane, here we go. All right. Good. So there's the microplane. All right, so I want to talk to you just about sort of like a little overview of every place we've been. So this is where we started. We started with, you don't have to be a gourmet chef to be cooking delicious, healthy food in your own kitchen. I want it to be comfortable. I want you to be a casual cook. I want things to feel simple. I want you to start with easy, right? Don't go for complex. Don't go for fancy. Start with easy, then you'll go to good, and then you'll get to great. But start with easy. And we talked about how when we're creating sustainable nourishment, we're always working on 3 levels, right? We're always working, what are we eating? How is that happening? The lifestyle level and the mindset level. What's our approach? So I really want your approach to be one of ease, one of comfort. Then we talked about the 5 powerful tools that I use, I would say, the most in the kitchen. My salad spinner for veggie washing, the Cuisinart and the Vitamix for veggie prepping, my storage containers because I want you to cook once and eat many times, and my little microplane because it's just my favorite gadget there is. Now, a couple of other resources for you. One is I have a whole list. If you missed any of those links, I have a whole list of them for you that I'm going to put up right now. But the other thing I want to talk to you about is if you want more support, if you're wanting like somehow, oh wait, the other thing I want to do is, do you have any questions? So I want to know, do you have any questions? And if you do, you can put them right in the chat room on the side. So I can check if there's a question there. So if you can see on the, if you're on the webinar live, you'll see a little chat button on the side. So just put your questions in there. While you're putting your questions in there, what I'd like you to do, what I'd like to tell you about is if you're wanting more support, if this feels like, you know what, this is what I need, I want someone to really make this whole world of eating healthy, cooking healthy, being relaxed in my body, being relaxed with my food. If this is what I want and you want more support, I want to invite you into the Nourished Woman Nation. And the Nourished Woman Nation is an amazing monthly ongoing group of incredible women, amazing women. And we get together once a month, and I always have some really juicy topic, and we also get into your specific questions. It's a time for you every single month to get on the phone with me and go, Nina, this is what's going on with me, and I will coach you live. So let me give you that resource for you. Hold on one second. That is right here. So if you want to know more about the Nourished Woman Nation, you can click there. All the information is there. If you have any questions, just email me, nina@ninamanelson.com, for sure. I'm going to check here and make sure, see if anybody's asked any questions. Oh, Sue says thank you. You're welcome, Sue. So great. Okay, so if there's no more questions, I want to give you just a cheat sheet of everything we've talked about today so that you have links so that you can get whatever it is that you want to get of all the tools that I've talked to you about. You might have some in the kitchen, but you might not have others. So let me hook you up to that particular resource. Oh, wait. So Liz says, can you really eat the whole ginger skin and all? I never knew that. Yes, you can. Absolutely. Some people, wash it first and then just wash it briefly and then stick it in the freezer. I tend to just wipe. I just sort of wipe it off and then throw it into the freezer. And then I think this must be my friend Sharon, who has a great sense of humor. She said, but what if you like toxins? If you like toxins, Sharon, you go right ahead and eat everything off of plastic. You'll be all set. So if there's any other questions, keep them coming. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up a link for you so that you can have access to the list of every single tool that I have given you. And hold on. Webinar resource list. Here we go. Okay. Good. So if you click there, you're going to find a document that has everything we talked about, with a link that will take you straight to Amazon or take you straight to my site to give you more information, like the Vitamix cheat sheet or the information about Nourished Woman Nation. So it's been a total delight to be with you tonight. I look forward to the next webinar. Wait, hold on. Sue says, can you freeze the food in glass containers? Yes, you can freeze the food in glass containers, absolutely. Just leave a little space, because food, when it freezes, can expand. So you want to leave a little space, but absolutely you can freeze beautifully in those containers. And I find them, it's even better because part of the process with plastics is the freezing and the heating. That's when the toxins start releasing into your food, which we really do not want that in our body. So I love the questions. I love to be able to be interactive with you. And if you want more of that, please join me for the Nourished Woman Nation. It's very cool. I love getting on the phone and really coaching you through creating a really healthy and positive and strong relationship with your food and your body. My mission is to help you feel good in your own body. So goodbye for now. It's been a total delight. Thank you so much for coming.